Well, I sit here as it strikes the noon hour, all dressed up with nowhere to go. This morning, I was to join Pastor Andy and Father Victor to do what I like to call Ashes on the Street for Ash Wednesday, offering the imposition of ashes to folks that were driving by in their cars or walking along the street. But the weather said no. We weren't just having some rain, although it's let up for right now. I think there's some more squalls coming through, but it was a ferocious rain, not a pleasant rain, but a stormy, lightning, which I think is still to come, rain, and angry rain. And I was looking really forward to doing this. I hadn't done this in a while, and I was invited by Pastor Andy, and always appreciate that invitation and to join my sweet compatriot in arms, Father Victor. But it wasn't safe to do so with the storm. And I thought, after last night, it seemed no small thing that today was Ash Wednesday. A day for reflection and repentance. And that we were going to be doing that with folks passing by in their cars or walking along the street. It felt right. That we would be reminded from the words that we speak over the person as we make the sign of the cross on their forehead, that they are but dust. We are all but dust, and to dust we shall return. It's the great equalizing statement. It's the great leveling of the playing field. There's no differences, no genders, no race, no ethnicities, no class. We are just dust, and we shall all die. At least this embodiment, this flesh, this bones. And we're all the same in that. Whether you're just scraping by in life financially, or you're a billionaire and have more wealth than you could ever possibly use, you too will die. And after sitting at bedside or in hospitals and trauma centers, and even at roadside, no matter the circumstances, we all die the same. There is a moment that I've observed where that light, that spirit, that soul, that essence, whatever you want to call it, departs, and the body remains. Sometimes the body stubbornly doing what the body does and continues giving all appearances of life, but that spark, that part of us that makes us human, that makes us not just human, not a part of the faceless masses, that makes us uniquely who each of us are, that makes me, me, and you, leaves, that animates this body. There's a moment that happens. And though I may be at bedside, and I have been, sometimes alone with that person, and having a conversation, and saying, I know you're still here in this room, but you're not in this body anymore. But those outside this room that are gathering and that are weeping, they're not ready for that you that they knew or they thought was fully you, that body, to leave them, because they love you and you love them. We're all the same in that. No one escapes that, nor should we, nor would, I think, would we want to. But I also know from science that we've learned that our bodies, that we are also stardust, not mere dust, but stardust, as is our earth, as is all things around us. We are stardust. And to stardust we shall return. And in that, we are also united. There are no differences. We are the same. We are connected. And in our wonder and awe, and sometimes our fear in all this, the unknowingness, that doubt, we are unified. There is room for us to be decidedly human and small, fragile and fleeting, as we are connected and a part of creation and the ongoing unfolding of creation. So I think Ash Wednesday, regardless of your religious beliefs or not, is something that the symbolism and the significance of this, everyone can grasp. When I worked in hospice, I found people that were Protestant, and their particular denomination did not recognize this or celebrate it, if you will. Was not a part of their tradition, their faith tradition. That when they asked about it and I explained it, they wanted to participate. I never pushed it on anybody. That wasn't my role as a chaplain. That's not what chaplains do. But they were curious, and when we're curious, we're vulnerable and we're open to consider things. And in our doubt and our uncertainty, we can come together. And others that were non-religious, be they folks that call themselves atheists or agnostics or none, still would ask, what is this thing you're doing? What is this smudge of dirt on your forehead? Why are you passing this out to folks that want it? And again, I would reflect upon the meaning of us being dust and returning to dust, us being stardust and returning to stardust, returning to that beyond us, that bigger than us, that we cannot understand, that we all will go there at some point. Those folks that were particularly religious at all would want something. And so I would make with the same ashes, a circle in their palm. I think as I thought about this sort of angry weather we were having, that, if God is weeping in the rain, that it was an angry crying. A sorrowful and yet angry crying. Not just for our little piece of this cosmos, our little country, little spot on the globe, but for the whole world that's overtaken by a decided surety of all things, convicted of their convictions to the point that they're willing that you die for that. And that conviction can be, I don't mean a religious conviction necessarily, it can be that conviction that wealth is the end game. Power. That self-preservation at all costs to keep what we've got. But in that moment where that essence of you departs, you have the power of the powerless. You don't have all your treasures about you. They don't mean a thing. And you will look in death no different than the person beside you on the slab that had nothing, that lived on the streets, that was rejected and was offensive to people that you thought were parasites upon society. You will be the same, and in the earth, as the earth takes your body, you will be the same as whatever flower or fern sprouts above your grave, whatever place your ashes are tossed in the wind and land upon the sands. Ultimately, you are back to dust. The same. There's a strange love, I think, in the imposition of ashes. That holy love that is both embrace and challenge. That love that is fully embracing, that sees us all for who we really are and doesn't love us in spite of. But loves us because of who we are, because we were created, we were dreamed into existence before the beginning of time, that we were a part of creation that was necessary and needed, uniquely you, and that creation would somehow be incomplete without you, and you were looked upon by whatever God you perceive in your mind, and that God said, "Oh, good, very good." And those that you have children, that God was punch drunk in love with you as you were the first time you looked upon your own child. And you saw no faults, no flaws. They were perfect. But decidedly human, in a human experience, and decidedly human flesh and bones, and they were not going to last either. They were dust, stardust, a part of you and a part of everyone and all. But it is also a love of challenge, a love that knows that we will bump against things and we will hurt. And that if we love it all, and we should love it all, that love and grief go hand in hand. They are not opposites. They travel together. A love that knows that you will suffer, a love that knows that sometimes you will cause others to suffer, that you will bang and knock against others. Out of your woundedness, out of your self-preservation, out of your selfishness, out of your humanness. And that love that is a part of the love that accepts us also calls us to be aware that we are dust. And to dust we shall return. We are stardust. All of us together, unified. And to stardust you shall return.